लोग माइंस की खदानों में जब घुसते हैं तो वहाँ पे बहुत अंधेरा भी दिखाई देता है और हम लोग को बहुत डर भी लगता है।
The next shade, again, another kind of muted tone blush, powder pink.
हम लोग को बहुत डर भी लगता है कि हम लोग पता ना कि किधर से क्या गिर जाए।
The next one is the Moonchild. This one I think is even more duochrome-y. This one shifts more.
मैंने देखा बहुत सारे बच्चे को, एक बच्चा का भी माथा फटा था।
Pink Glow, which they actually have as permanent color. Here, this is another special edition one. This is in the color pink.
In nearly every pit, children are at work. This is where they spend every single day. Digging, sifting, hauling mica.
This is 2 different highlighters that they sell individually. I can't remember this.
Not a single one of them goes to school.
According to the UN, 73 million children work in hazardous conditions around the world.
It is a really, really pretty neutral shimmery called Glowing Nude, and this other one is called Glowing Pink.
You have any idea where the mica goes after you mine it?
नहीं जानते।
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a deep dive on a subject that has been weighing on my heart for about a year now since I first discovered it. So I'm sure you saw the intro and you may be a little bit confused. So let me just start from the beginning. Basically, I was going down a YouTube rabbit hole about makeup and, you know, the ethics of makeup and being cruelty-free and different things like that. And I discovered a Refinery 29 video about the use of mica in makeup and cosmetics. So mica is a mineral that's naturally found in the earth, and it can be found all over the world, even in the United States, and it is used in a variety of products. So many things that we use in our daily life come from this mineral called mica. And as you can see from this graph, it's used in oil, gas industries, paintings, coatings, automobiles, construction, electronics. It's a very well-known and used mineral around the world. And how it relates to cosmetics is mica is a very nice shimmery mineral. It's safe to use on the skin. It's an ingredient that you wouldn't think would be problematic, but it is very problematic because the mica is being mined by children. Children as young as 3 or 4 years old may be going into these mines and mining the mineral mica. So when I first discovered this, if you want to go and see the investigative documentaries, there are amazing documentaries on YouTube. Just type in mica in makeup and there's a bunch of news outlets, a bunch of different companies and news sources that have come out with child labor in makeup, child labor in cosmetics, the dark side of the beauty industry, but yet barely anybody knows about it or is talking about it. There's very few people that are actually bringing awareness to it. There are some people, like I said, there's people that are doing tons of work, and I just felt that it was important to bring awareness to this child labor. So I know that this is a lot, so just take a deep breath with me because this is actually not a sad video. Like, it obviously is a very sad subject, but I do want to assure you that today I am actually going to talk about ways that we can bring awareness, how people are already being helped in those communities, and the Responsible Mica Initiative. So the RMI is where I am going to be getting a majority of my resources from today. I am going to have it, you know, linked in the description below so you can actually go and look through it if you would like to. All of this information is readily free and available to you. So let's just dive deep into it. So about 75% of the world's mica resources are mined from Bihar and Jharkhand in India. I believe I am pronouncing it right, forgive me if I'm not, but about 75% of the world's mica is mined from there. So a majority of the mica comes from these regions. And you may be asking, you know, Sarah, like, how can people be getting away with this? How is this happening? How has it been happening for so long? Well, there's a lot of different factors. The first factor is it's almost like a resource paradox. They are so resource rich in mica that these communities of people don't have any other economic opportunities available to them because they have a bounty of this mica, and all of their land is pretty much centralized around mica mining, processing, and so all of their land and their opportunities are all based around mica. The government actually made a forestry, I wish I could remember it off of the top of my head. I'll place the actual name of it here, but basically they made it harder for people to actually mine mica from the land. So since there was heavier restrictions, that pushed the people of the land to create these ghost mines. So these are mines that are not under government control, they're not regulated, they are mostly using forced labor or child labor. And you're wondering, how do they get away with this? Like, it's just horrible to think about this, but what actually happens, and what is still happening to this day, mind you, this is no conspiracy theory, this is what's really happening. What happens is the ghost mines of these children, they collect all the mica, they are getting paid pennies a day, they're not getting paid anything, they're literally getting paid cents a day to risk their lives under these horrible working conditions. And basically the mica gets taken to either a legal or a more regulated mine. And so they take the mica, put it into a regulated mine, and then ship it out from that regulated mine. So that's where we come in. That's where cosmetics come in. The cosmetics companies are just sourcing their mica from any mine there, and it's not regulated, it's not mapped, it's not being traced. So it's very, very easy for this child mined mica to just slip in under, all the regulations and just be, that's why they're called ghost mines, because it's very hard to track, very hard to actually map where it's coming from. So if you were to, once you go and watch those other videos that I recommend you watch, you will find that mica is one of the hardest products to actually track and map, and that has been a humongous issue with these companies, is actually putting in the time, money, and effort to track and figure out and map where these are coming from. So of course, these children are subjected to respiratory issues. They may be having injuries, and also they're not going to school. They should be living their lives happily and free and safe and having access to education and healthcare. And because these communities are so poverty stricken, it is very hard for them to be not mining, because you'll find, you ask them, well, if you weren't mining, what would you be doing? We would be going hungry. We would starve. My family would starve. Like, it's pretty much like all that they know. So pretty much I'm going to just talk about the RMI now, because that is going to allow you guys to understand that there are people out there helping, and if we're aware of this, we can do something to help. So a big part that I want to talk about first before going into like what they're actually doing right now is, you may be also wondering, why don't we stop the use of mica? Why don't they just use synthetic mica? For example, Lush Cosmetics uses synthetic mica, but people argue that these people don't have any other economic opportunities, and if you are further hurting that industry or putting more regulations, as in making it just harder for these people to make money in a sense, it is just going to make the problem worse. There's just going to be more ghost mines. So not using mica is not a long-term viable solution. The people that actually really want to help these communities understand that mica is a vital part of their land, their community. So let's talk about how they're actually helping. So this is the commitment little staircase and steps that they have of what they want to do. So the first thing that they want to do is map the mica. They want to develop workplace standards. They want to help basically fund these mines in order to be able to go through audits and comply with these workplace standards without it actually super economically affecting them, because it's obviously going to cost more money. And so they want to help with that process. And then step 5, you know, they want to scale it to all around the world, because like I said, they're really focusing on India right now, but they want this to happen all over the world. So basically what the RMI does is it partners with different companies in order to help the community. So if a company partners with the RMI, then that means that they're going to comply to all of their standards and not have child mined mica. And it's actually really crazy. I'll show you the brands and the companies that are actually following the RMI, and they're abiding to make sure and commit that they do not have child mined mica. So for example, we have Burt's Bees, Chanel, Coty, Clarins, even we have Porsche, I believe, as the car company, as in the car company, because it's used in cars, so they're making sure that their cars are not having child labor. Sephora, and as you can see, that's a good amount of companies, but that's pretty much nothing compared to all the companies that are out there in the world, all of the makeup brands. And unfortunately, we all have makeup that has mica in it, all of us, because it is pretty much one of the most widely used ingredients. If you have shimmer in your eyeshadows, shimmer in your lip gloss, if you have any shimmery body lotions, any glitter, anything like that, it is from mica. And obviously it's a controversial ingredient, and these companies don't really want people to know, because if they're not being held accountable, then they don't have to abide by these regulations. So they even put it under different names. So instead of putting mica, they'll put different names on the ingredients list. So you might think, oh, well, it might not be in there, but it is. So pretty much the products that we're using almost every single day, if you are into makeup or body care, you know, cosmetics of any kind, hair care, skin care, body care, it all has mica in it. So we should be holding ourselves accountable, to hold these companies accountable, because once we start bringing awareness and we start asking questions of, hey, Too Faced, Anastasia Beverly Hills, Maybelline, different companies, if we start asking them, are you truly cruelty-free or ethical? Because we say cruelty-free with no cruelty to animals, but yet you're not mapping mica to make sure that it's not from child labor or forced labor. So if we as consumers start asking these questions, holding these companies accountable, then that is how we can make a difference. And I know that I've kind of been going around a bunch of different ideas. I just want you guys to be, you know, aware and educated on the climate of this mica industry right now. So let's talk about what they are doing. So the COVID-19 pandemic has definitely impacted the whole entire world as well as India. So basically what happened in these mica dependent communities is that they lost access to preschool, education, healthcare. Pretty much when the pandemic started, a lot of educational and medical offices just closed, so these people didn't have access to it. And since there was a decrease in production, there was a decrease in mica, which means that they're not getting paid as much, and it kind of forced people out of the communities into, you know, harsh conditions. It was just a really hard time. So the RMI actually went in and they provided meals, they provided healthcare, they provided education, because they know that eradicating mica or even just working in the mines isn't truly going to fix all the problems. They need to have a higher quality of life for these people. So I think it's amazing. Pretty much what they did is, I'm reading from the report right now, so if you want to go in and read the whole thing, you can. But basically what they did is they provided over 20,000 meals. They also worked with people in the community to bring education about the virus and about hand washing, about staying home if you can, about hygiene. They ensured children's engagement during lockdown by providing different educational, like coloring books and workbooks, and just so that they can learn, because if they have these workbooks, at least they can work together, they can learn from the books. And they kind of divided them up between like first grade, second grade, third grade, fifth grade, like they were basically trying to provide education to these children, which I think is very amazing, because we take education for granted so much here, and these children are just so excited to have any support at all, even if it's just a workbook. So other things that they're doing is they support young women in launching their own businesses. They will provide sewing machines, resources, and materials for them to start their own business, creating clothes, creating different products and selling them so that they can start their own business from a young age, because if they're able to make money, then that means that they're not being forced into the mines. So different companies that are under Cody are actually CoverGirl, Adidas, Rimmel, Sally Hansen. So there are more and more beauty companies that are waking up. And in my opinion, what the RMI is also trying to do is make this the global standard. Like, we should be eradicating child labor. We live in a world where we should not be having so much child labor, and not even just talking about Mica, but you can actually Google a list of goods and services that have been tracked to either child labor or forced labor, and it's tons of products that we use, and they make a list every single year of products that we use. So that can be coffee, teas, different, you name it, different materials that we have every single day. It's almost like Shein. A lot of people buy from Shein, and I am not judging you, because I just want to say, I don't want to make you feel bad, because I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, but I just want you guys to know that, like, there is a cost to everything. And if you are paying $3 for something, that usually means that someone or something somewhere is being exploited. And so we are going through a shift right now as consumers to be more aware, understand where these products are coming from. It has to be a mental shift within the consumer, because if the consumer isn't asking questions, like I said, there's tons of issues, it's tons of companies, it's not just Shein. I'm just using Shein as an example, but once people maybe start realizing and understanding why these products are so cheap, what's actually happening, you're not gonna want to buy from these companies anymore. You're not going to want to support these companies. And what happens is that company is then forced to comply with these standards. So the RMI really wants to make it that this is the global standard, make it so that we can not live in a world where children are dying. That's another really sad, unfortunate thing, is that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of children that have died in these mines. And my light just went out. Well, hold on. That is another reason why they're called ghost mines, because these children aren't protected and they don't have a voice. And so when they do pass, it's just many children that are losing their lives. And we take our products and our lives here for granted so much. And if more people understood that we need to do something about it, and that it all starts with awareness. That's my biggest point of why I wanted to make this video. I don't want to make anybody feel bad or sad, or it's not about that. It's just about holding ourselves and these companies accountable. If we're going to be putting shimmery glitter all over our faces, we need to be making sure that the shimmery glitter isn't being mined by children. So I don't even really have that much else to say, because it's like, how else do I explain that you should care? So I really hope that you guys found this video educational, insightful. There are actually a lot of truths in the beauty industry that are terrifying, and this is pretty much part 1 of scary truths in the beauty industry. So if you guys are interested in those videos, hit the subscribe button, because I'm gonna be having a lot more content coming soon. Yeah, I know that this was a lot, but it's really important for us to know what's going on in the world. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, give it a thumbs up and comment. I am a small YouTuber. I'm just starting. I really don't have that many subscribers, so even if you were to subscribe to me, 1 or 2 would just make my whole entire day. So thank you so much. And yeah, I'm honestly not really wearing makeup in this video. I put on a little bit of like BB cream and mascara because I just didn't feel like it was right to put on a full face of makeup and be like, let's talk about child labor. Like, no. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.